Book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to Biz Talks. My name is Rick Gutierrez, and I am your host. I'm thrilled to have you join us in this journey through this intricate world of business. Now, whether you are an entrepreneur, small business owner, or an industry leader, this is the place to be. This is where we're going to unlock secrets to success and provide you with knowledge, tools, and all kinds of advice in today's intricate world of business. And so this is for you to be successful within your business. And so we've got a great lineup of business professionals that are going to be providing us with all kinds of insights, tips, and tricks to take your business to the next level. And with that being said, I've got one of the most amazing entrepreneurs out there that has been in business for quite some time, and she's actually helped businesses on the corporate world as well as nonprofit world, and she's built a firm for herself, so she knows a little bit about business and many other specialties. And I'd like to welcome Miss Nora back to the show. Welcome to the show, Nora.
Hi, Rick. Thank you so much for having me.
It is my pleasure to have you. It's also great to have you here on another show of Biz Talk. So I know that last week we talked about many different things, and this week we've got tons of other things. But first, let us know a little bit more about Nora's books. What all are you guys doing in Nora's books? Tell us a little bit more about Nora's books.
So Nora's Books basically is tax and accounting firm. However, we are not the traditional one. We do have a lot more service than tax and accounting. Of course, we do bookkeeping, we do CFO services where we manage the cash flow, manage the budget. We care about the compliance because I am a tax accountant. So when we do bookkeeping, when we do any accounting service, we take in account the compliance that related to your bookkeeping, related to your business, to make sure you are aligned. We do also coaching, one-on-one. We do have some courses. We do have business formation. A lot of things is coming up also this summer, especially for nonprofits. So I also had a master class last week for cash flow. So businesses who wants to increase their cash flow. We are going to do another masterclass in June, so watch out for that. We're going to announce it soon, so you can register for it. This week, we have a masterclass teaching my impact method for nonprofits. So that's coming up this Thursday. So you can register for that on the website. You just go to norasbooks.com that's norasbooks.com, and then from there you join the masterclass. You register to it, and you will get a Zoom link just before the meeting, so you can actually join me live where I teach you my impact method to increase your donor base and build the capacity of your organization.
Fantastic. It sounds amazing. And Nora, based on your extensive experience both in the corporate and the nonprofit sectors, can you tell us what do you think are the biggest differences in the financial management aspect between these two types of organizations?
So in terms of corporate, mainly like businesses, they have less requirements than actually nonprofits. With nonprofit, you have a lot more requirements from the IRS, from the state level, from the county level. You have a lot of compliance you need to adhere to. Now, in the business also you have that, but it's a little bit different. For example, for nonprofits, you have to report in your bookkeeping a different program with funding and with how much you spend for each program. You have to monitor that separately. While in business, you don't have separate program. You might have like severance services, but it's much simple to account for that than just like doing that for nonprofits, where you have the eye of the funders, you have public information all over. It's just like you have public company, but it's a nonprofit. So people often think they do not have to invest when they do not nonprofits, but actually you have to invest more because the expectation of you getting an order, your financials on order and everything is actually much higher, and you can get a steep penalty if you did not actually adhere to those regulations. Now, in business, it's much simpler, but still you have to follow, especially if you have employees, you have those payroll taxes. Now you have to file quarterly taxes for payrolls. You have to pay estimated taxes. So a lot of differences, but in general, it's much more complex when you come to a nonprofit.
Fantastic. So you just basically showcase your expertise in your fields by just telling us the two differences within just a traditional business and then a nonprofit business. But you yourself, someone who has successfully navigated, a long career in accounting, and now you run your own firm, what advice would you give a small business owner in managing their finances effectively so that when they come to you, they have pretty much everything in order?
So first thing you want to do is really, like, when you start your business, you want to do bookkeeping right away. You want to make sure you have your financial statements. You want to actually, I know, like you say in the beginning, like I don't need it yet. But at minimum, you want to make sure you have a software, and then you connected business account, because a lot of people still using their personal account. You should have a business bank account, and try to have also a credit card for your business to make sure everything's spent only from your business account. Even if you want to pay for anything for yourself, don't spend anything directly from your business, even if you are sole proprietor, even if you are an LLC, where like you have to talk withdraw. Don't do that. Don't spend the money directly. You need to have this separation. So transfer the money to your personal account, before you spend it. Do not spend directly for personal stuff to the business, and vice versa. You need to have that separation. So when we come to do your bookkeeping, it's much easier to do it. And don't delay that too much, because you're going to end up forgetting what you spend money for. At least, like, if you're not ready yet, at least have a spreadsheet or Google Sheet or whatever. Write down what is it for. Keep your receipts, keep it organized. So when you are ready to hire someone to do your bookkeeping, then you have everything in order, because you're going to forget. A year later, a few months later, you're going to forget what do you need, what did you spend this money for. Make sure, like, for example, if you went out to eat with someone in a business meeting, make sure you keep that receipt. Make sure you count the mileage and put that in a spreadsheet. Take picture of those receipts, because they're gonna fade off. So you want to make sure you have all this information, so when you are ready for service, it's easy for us to do it for you, and it's going to be more accurate because you have all the information. And for us, we don't have to ask you 100 questions before we actually get everything in order for you.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I believe a lot of business owners, the mistake they make is to where they fail to realize that when you create an entity, when you create a new business, it is its own entity. It has to have its own records, its own financial records, and those records need to be as accurate as possible so that when you hire Nora's Books, it's an easy transaction to go through and a transition to go through to where Nora can help you as best as possible. Now, Nora, technology is something that is always rapidly changing, and in the accounting landscape. How do you incorporate the latest technology advancements, within accounting to help these business owners?
So by choosing actually what softwares you are actually using. So for us, we mainly use QuickBooks because QuickBooks, they always, and online. So it's not like we don't use any desktop thing because it's easier to integrate, easier to actually make sure we have everything updated. They update the software continuously. We use everything cloud-based, but yet secured, to make sure we have the updates like easier. You don't have to uninstall and install, everything. And we make sure like any tool that can help our client. For example, we have a client management system that the client portal, like people can sign up there. We have also like for courses, we have like another program. For it depends on the service, but for bookkeeping, we always use QuickBook. Unless the client is using something else, we can help them, but we always recommend to use something like QuickBook, just because they are up to date. They always updating the software in a monthly basis almost. So you can utilize the technology, so you're not just wasting time with doing things that you don't have to do.
Right. So it's amazing to use the right tools at every single time, because using the right tools can make you more effective, it can make you more accurate, and your business is going to stand out way better than just either using nothing and or using a very low budget tool for your financing. I believe, Nora, we've come to the conclusion of this segment, but I don't want to leave this segment without you telling your audience how we can get in touch with you so we can hire your services.
So you can always go to noorasbooks.com/contact, book a time in my calendar. And from there, you can actually choose either like a phone call or a Zoom, and we can get on that time spot and we can discuss to see how can we help you.
One more question before you go, and we can answer this quickly. Nora, you are available for speaking engagements, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, fantastic. So there you have it, folks. Nora's Books is the one to hire for all of your bookkeeping, keep all your finances straight, and using the right tools. So stay right there, folks. We'll be right back. This is Biz Talks.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again. With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talks. My name is Rick Gutierrez. I am your host and your business advocate. And when I tell you that we have a lineup of business experts on this show, we definitely do. And that leads me to showcasing another expert that we're going to have here talking about all kinds of immigration law topics that are going to bring you to you so that you can be more focused and more educated on business immigration law. So with that being said, Tamina Watson, welcome to the show. I am happy to have you, and we're excited for you to be here.
I'm so excited to be here, Rick. Thank you so much for having me.
It is our pleasure. We like to tell our viewers that we bring no one but experts into this show, and so that way our viewers can have extensive knowledge from those experts in the world of business and all different types of industries as well. So, immigration attorney, tell us a little bit about your firm, where you guys are located, and what you guys are really focused on. What aspects of immigration law are you guys focused on?
Well, Rick, it's such an honor to be here. I am an immigrant to the United States. If you tune into my accent, I was born and raised in the United Kingdom, and I moved to the United States when I got married to my husband, who lived in Seattle at the time. So I basically moved to Seattle and I became a lawyer here, and I started practicing immigration law. My law firm is Watson Immigration Law in downtown Seattle, and we focus on business immigration. We help people figure out how to expand their businesses into the United States, what kind of visas they need, what kind of other services they need, and what business visa do they need, not just for themselves, but also for their employees. We often find that startups that are starting afresh, often they are students who've come from different countries to the United States, who have brilliant ideas and have raised funds from US VCs and angel investors, and often research and development grants. They need to be able to stay in the US and figure out what kind of visas are suitable for their businesses. But often, and Rick, you might see this often yourself, businesses that have been successful in a different country, whether you're from Mexico or Europe or South Asia, you have customer bases in the United States. And there comes a time in the business where your customers are going to say, we need you in our time zone. And if that happens, if that is you, that's where we can help you. That's where we help with the visa options, because the United States immigration system is not simple at all. And we can make sure that you get your visa to enter the US and essentially get your green card eventually to be secure here.
Fantastic. Thank you for the business introduction and your firm introduction. Amazing things that you guys are doing. As son of immigrants myself, I appreciate all the work that you're doing and helping as many people as possible. So let's talk a little bit about business, because you mentioned that you focus on helping businesses go through all of the requirements that they need for their employees. So startups and entrepreneurs that are facing they're facing a few challenges in navigating through the immigration system. How do you assist them in overcoming a lot of these hurdles within that realm?
Really great question, because there's no one size fits all. Right. Yet we only have a handful of visas in this country that were set in the 1990s. What people need to be very careful about is we do not actually have a visa for startups. We do not have a startup visa. So I have been working over the years to create policies, help lawmakers and policies to create a startup visa. But what we do have is a visa soup, as it's generally referred to. So when somebody comes to us, the first thing we need to know is, where do they stand in their business? Have they started it already? Is it just an idea? Is it pre-revenue? Is it pre-seed? Or have they raised some funds? Have they gone through seed rounds or series rounds of funding? Do they have any employees already? Who needs the visa? Does the founder need the visa, or do their employees need a visa? Are they in the United States already? Or are they coming to visit just for meetings? Are they living in another country and they need the visa to enter the US? So there are a lot of considerations before we can get to the actual visa category. But what's interesting is, if people are in the United States already, sometimes they can change their status in the US. So you're here as a tourist, there's a visa category that works for you. Is it the H-1B visa, which requires a degree that matches the job you're trying to do? Or are you investing in the United States? Are you investing in a business that is maybe $100,000 or $200,000? Is that the right visa for you? So our job as immigration lawyers is really to make sure that we assess every single aspect of that particular business and those aspirations that the entrepreneur, the business owners have, to make sure that the visa category is the right one for them. Now, the thing that happens often is it the right visa category for now, even though they may have a goal for something else? So often what I will ask my clients to consider is, let's look at the right visa for this moment. And then we have to figure out how we move them over to a different visa category, if it is for a short-term period. And often we have to think about, what is the next step and the next step to get a green card and citizenship.
This is the reason why we have subject matter experts on this show. It's because of the extensive knowledge that they bring to the table in helping businesses and business professionals out there that are looking to get the best result possible. And so, Tamina Watson, apparently you have been in business for quite some time. You know your practice very well. And so with that being said, one of the ways that our viewers can definitely relate to potentially working with you is by maybe sharing some success stories of legal expertise that where you were able to make a significant impact on those startup journeys, or maybe just professionals themselves. You don't have to share everything, but just some success stories where you were able to help a certain individual or a business.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. And what I'm very privileged and lucky to say is, most of our cases are always successful. And it really depends on what kind of visa we're getting. You'll hear, listeners might hear these various terms: H-1B visa, L-1A visa, O visa, E-2 visa, green cards, EB-1, EB-2, national interest waiver. These are some of the buzzwords people might have heard about the various visa categories. So people will come to me and say, which is the right one? So some examples of success stories will be, for example, we had a client who had come out of school, this is several years ago, and we had gotten them an H-1B for themselves with their own company. There is a misconception among the masses that you cannot have an H-1B visa for your own company. And that is not true. You can have an H-1B for your own company. We've been doing this for a long time, and I can tell you that it's possible. So we got an H-1B for our own client, who got it for himself, and then we got several H-1B and other types of visas. They hired students, they hired Canadians, they hired Mexican citizens, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And they were so successful that their business actually sold for a lot of zeros at the end of the number. It's undisclosed. And I think they're sipping pina colada on some beach somewhere. So what we have seen is a lot of our clients have been able to successfully grow their businesses to either getting them onto the New York Stock Exchange as part of the IPO, or they've sold them So we have multiple stories of clients selling their companies. Another success story is our client came from one of the South American countries. And what happens in some of these South American countries is that people have one or two companies, not just one, and they often, because of the political volatility, will exchange funds from one company to another for the businesses that they do together, because often, because of the political situation, they cannot receive money or get money out of their bank account, so they have to essentially move from one bank account to another. And so we learn how these things work from our clients, and our client was able to successfully have their company in the United States and eventually sold it. There are many successful stories, but one of the things I want to share with your audience is that people from Canada and people from Mexico, they have specific visas under the treaty NAFTA visa category that allows them to get visas a little bit easier than others. And it's something that people should know so that they can take advantage of it. So many stories to share, Rick, but I hope those two will help.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you sharing that, because that goes a long ways, not only showing your expertise, but also the types of individuals and businesses that you've been able to help along the way. We have come to the close of this segment, and Tavmina, before we go, we want to give you an opportunity to once again showcase your business, tell folks how they can find you and how they can get a hold of you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Rick, for having me. Our website is www.watsonimmigrationlaw.com. Our phone number in Seattle is 206-292-5237, and I would encourage people to get my book, which is called A Visa Guide for Startups and Founders, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or anywhere else you can get books.
Awesome. Tavmina, thank you so much for being here. Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay right there.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company, the time you spend with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talk. This is Rick Gutierrez, your host and your business advocate. And just a little while ago, we were mentioning that we bring not one but experts onto this show, subject matter experts that have been in business a long time. They know their industry inside and out. And we've got another amazing guest who is not a stranger to the show, but he brings an extensive amount of knowledge, especially in the world of AI. Dr. Alan Bedell, welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, Rick. Good to be here.
It's great to have you as always. Your extensive knowledge in the world of AI and all kinds of futuristic, technology. You guys bring an extensive amount of knowledge to us, so we appreciate that. And this is just the one little segment real quick for you to introduce Harmonic AI, what it is that you guys are working on. So tell us a little bit about Harmonic AI.
Yeah, one of the exciting things about Harmonic is that we are trying to make the relationship between AI and humans significantly more seamless and much more productive in the long run. So we are taking and developing really from the ground up, the corpus of how they're going to operate, how they're going to behave, as well as specific characteristics that we want them to have, whether it is for instance, an engineer versus a CEO versus, somebody else. We can train them to have those specific traits that they want, and that allows us to simulate their behaviors and, really compare it to, again, like a competition or, somebody that we're trying to, model and really get their opinion on things. And, if you think about all the decisions that we make as humans, it's all about perspective. It's not a score. It's not a mathematical equation. It's not saying, I've got a 78% confidence level that I'm going to make this decision. It's not like that at all. We take a lot of feedback from a lot of different people and a lot of different opinions, and then we process it. And that's what we're doing with our AI. We want to make sure that folks have perspective, they have an understanding, and then they can make the decision that best suits their needs.
It's interesting that you mentioned to where you guys are enhancing the relationship between AI and human users. With that being said, I'm sure you're aware that there is an AI company that released their latest update on their AI technology, and it's got some pretty impressive functionalities. Some would even say that it's very realistic and how it responds, and a timely response, and then some additional features. Have you had a chance to play with that new feature?
I have. I've got 6 different licenses with OpenAI and ChatGPT, and our company has some as well. And it really is an improvement over what they were doing before. These guys continue to set the pace when it comes to interactions and how AI is supposed to respond. the great thing about what they do, and really all the large language models now, is that they will tell you in a form that is very easy to believe. It's, grammatically correct. The information is, often presented in an interesting manner, and then you can interface with it and start to, really, understand and use that for the most part. There are still some hiccups that these models run into. As I've said many times before, these large language models will hallucinate, and they will, sometimes give you a bad answer. And the new models do a good job in reducing some of those hallucinations. But the reality is you will never be able to get rid of hallucinations, but you can just improve them and try to give the user a little bit easier of a time if it does hallucinate while you're using it. And on top of that, though, the capabilities, the new capabilities that they have are really fantastic, from the image analysis, from the interaction and the ability to continue to spin up agents. It's really doing a lot of improvement over the old version.
It definitely is an improvement. I got a chance to play with it myself, and I was kind of blown away to where I had to set it away for a little while just to kind of get back to reality there for a second. But all of that stuff is interesting. But I know that Harmonic, you guys have a little bit of a different approach rather than traditional AI solutions out there. So, what specific innovations do you guys bring to the table? What are you guys currently working on that you guys are really excited about?
Yeah, so we are going beyond just using large language models and creating agents. As I explained earlier, our first step is really to, give them personalities and start from the ground up and build those into their DNA, so that, if it's an engineer, it understands that it's an engineer. It understands that it's supposed to respond as an engineer because it is an engineer at heart. And, we can do that really for about 15 different job, in labor markets. And so that's where we fundamentally start. And then we can add tools and do specific training, to augment them. But we also are leveraging a whole bunch of different, AI fields to really give an answer that is much more realistic, allows us to, really take these, our, cognitive personas and apply them to very complex, situations. And, just as you would for, any other person that you are leveraging to help make that decision, we put boundaries on it, and we put quality assurance, and we do an awful lot of other things on top of that to make sure that the AI is giving you the best possible answer. But not only that it's giving you the best possible answer, but that you also know why it's doing that, how it's quantified, and what sort of bias those models have.
Absolutely. So it's an interesting topic because many of the things that you guys are working on are basically not just for the now, but for the coming years, basically the future. And technology is just going to continue to get better and better. So one of the things that was brought up by one of our viewers last week was that as AI continues to evolve, there's got to be some consideration towards how ethical are the programmings and or the prompts going to be to make AI be really ethical and stay within boundaries and guidelines.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And what I would say is that let's not force AI to be more ethical than we force humans, right? And so I think that's step one. But then step two is that you've got to really provide full transparency for your models, your data, the information, and the decisions that they're making. That is the really going to be the biggest driver around how successful and really what the landscape becomes in the next few years, because there's a lot of legal issues that are starting already. How are they getting their data? Oh, they went out and they scraped every piece of code from a certain vendor, and I didn't give permission to have my code scraped just because it's open sourced and use that. And so there are some different legal battles that are going to be going on around protecting your data, protecting your information, and then, also, reducing that digital footprint to make sure that, if you want your data used in these models, that it can be. Otherwise, don't touch it. And there's really going to have to be a balance there. You've got your ethical boundaries, you've got your technical capability boundaries, and then you have your data boundaries. And we are no closer to a solution today than we were probably, a year ago. And, I think the legal system is actually going to start driving some of these before the laws and some of those other things can catch up.
Absolutely. So with that said, do you think or do you believe that Harmonic is leading and or paving the way to being able to deploy a lot of these AI capabilities in a more responsible way, and you guys have ways of measuring to ensure that, it's being put out to the public responsibly?
I think so. We're trying the best that we can when it comes to that, because we don't want these, our personas to be used for, activities that we think are inappropriate. They shouldn't be used for, certain functions. They shouldn't be used, really for, what we would call nefarious, activities. However, say for instance, if you are in the police force or law enforcement and you wanted to try to figure out what the behavior is of a perpetrator, a hacker, whatever, a bank robber potentially, then that's where our technology can really step up and play, because then, we can provide, those sort of capabilities to law enforcement so they can simulate, they can train, and then they can get better at catching these folks. And that's what we're trying to use it for, not for the other, purpose. But again, it's like everything else. The bad guys are always one or two steps ahead of the good guys. And so hopefully we can, help the good guys with the technology that we're developing.
Absolutely. It could be really amazing if it's put into good use, and it can help a lot of people if used properly. And obviously, we're all trying to do the ethical thing and do the right thing for the right reasons, the right way every single time. So with that being said, Dr. Madu, we're coming to a close of this segment here, but I don't want to go without giving you an opportunity to once again showcase Harmonic AI. How can folks get a hold of you? How can they get a hold of Harmonic AI so that we can potentially do business with you?
Yeah, what I would encourage folks to do is come to our website. It's harmonicai.ai. And take a look at some of the technology that we have. Take a look at some of the use cases that we present. We are in partnership with a few companies right now doing some very, fun and, what I would say leading edge type, rollouts and support that our platform is going to provide. And it's easily customizable to whatever folks need. And, we can walk through some scenarios with people.
Absolutely. I've seen your website packed full of information. Love your website. We can definitely learn a lot just by, reviewing your website. So we want to thank you again, Dr. Bado, for being on the show. We definitely do appreciate all your expertise, your knowledge, the value that you bring every single week. And so we're happy to have you. That's it for this segment, folks. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talk. This is Rick Gutierrez, your host and your business advocate, and we have an amazing guest in the studio today. And I am excited to have him on board because we're going to have an amazing conversation about different things about business. And so we're excited to have him and introduce Mr. Ryan Kahn with CS Business Consulting. So Ryan, welcome to the show.
Rick, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for being here, and welcome to Texas. Welcome to Houston. I knew you flew in from Kentucky, I believe.
That's right, the western tip of Kentucky, Paducah.
Hopefully Kentucky's having better weather than we are right now.
They are right now, they are.
All right, well, good. I'm hoping that your flight was good. We're happy to have you. We have an amazing conversation ahead of us. And so, if you don't mind, CS Consulting, Business Consulting is something that business consulting in general is something that I'm very passionate about, especially for those businesses that need the consulting that don't know that they need the consulting, right? So, but you're the expert and you're going to teach us a little bit. I have a topic that I think it's crucial that we talk about because most people don't know, or sometimes they just forget, just because we're wrapped up in business in general. But sustainability practices in business, that's something that you have some expertise in. And so tell us a little bit about how CS Business Consulting helps business professionals in sustainability.
Right, thank you, Rick. So we've helped a lot of business professionals in sustainability in kind of a two-pronged category. Sustainability as a working environment with people, personnel, the longevity of leaders and the business to basically not experience burnout or to experience some type of consumption by rising prices, inflation, and a product that stays stagnant. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, many of our clients, we have clients in 37 states at this point, deal with the actual sustainability issues of how do they maintain eco-friendly efficiencies, how do they keep their fuel in line, how do they get credits from the government for taking advantage of certain programs, and ultimately not damage their communities or the environment while producing a bigger, better product and growing as a company.
You know, one of the things that you mentioned at the beginning was a business having, looking for something to help them propel forward, but they don't know what that is. And one of the things that they are facing, fatigue, burnout. It's a big thing, and it can affect, mental health, emotional health, and all of those great things. So how do you help these businesses, or first answer that question, how do you help these businesses, get to the point of recognizing when you need to start addressing some of these issues, and how do you help them?
So that's a great question. How do they start recognizing the issues? Most of them are probably fairly organic. They know if they're hurting as far as morale, maybe people are leaving the company in droves, or we have a lot of turnover. In the last 20 years, finding the right employees and staff and then maintaining and retaining the right employees and staff has always been a top 10 issue. In just the last 5 years alone, it has been a top 1 issue or 2 issue across almost every industry in the country. So finding the top talent or retaining the top talent has been a critical issue. And that all boils down to leadership. So I do a lot of consultation on leadership and getting your foundation as a leader, making sure you have the mechanisms in place to build yourself up from a foundation and a cornerstone so you can build up or out with your business. If you do that and you rally people behind a mission and a vision with well thought out leadership, you're going to be able to sustain and then grow on top of that.
Yeah. So one of the key elements in that topic is finding the right talent. I know that for a lot of businesses, that is a very challenging task, right? How are you helping these businesses find the right platforms to find the right candidates?
Yeah, that's a great question. Most people can find the right talent by looking outside of the historical model. Most people are looking for some type of vast years of experience, some type of pedigree or credentials specific to their industry. And one thing that we really try to encourage people to do is find the right person, the right character, the right cultural fit to your organization, and then create the type of person you need out of the right individual. If you hire outside of the box of your industry, you will be shocked at the ideas and the workflow and the systems they bring into your company, and more importantly, the right attitude and work effort that you can then build upon and put skills. You can teach almost anybody a skill, but teaching somebody a character, an initiative, and a personality that fits your organization is overwhelmingly difficult to do.
How critical is it for a company to hire based on the resume versus the personality or the person?
So the resume is important. It shows a background, it shows discipline, it shows consistency. But we have found, I'll just take a real example from us. We have found in the accounting world, if I sit back and I just try to find a 5, 7, 10-year experience CPA that's credentialed, I don't mean anything against CPAs because I love my work in the accounting industry, but generally, if they're leaving, I'm going to have to pay a substantial amount of money for those credentials. I'm going to get a lot of bad habits, and I'm going to get a lot of tunnel vision from how they used to do it their way at the old place, and I have to overcome all of those things while paying a lot of money overall. Or if I find somebody that has any type of experience in bookkeeping or accounting at all, they have maybe just a mathematically minded sense of themselves, I can then train those skills and develop them to the exact type of accountant I need, and the skills and the laws will fall into place.
Sure. So it's the resume is important. It's crucial, actually, for the company to get an understanding of who you are, who you've been, and where you've been. But personality and experience of the individual goes a long ways. And that's something that I myself, as a business owner, have encountered in the world of finding the right talent. Overlooking either one you can potentially overlook a lot of people. Right? So it's all about meeting with them and understanding where they've been and their experience. I've had a gentleman where the resume didn't look all that great, education-wise, but he had over 36 years of experience in the field, right? So that makes something to look at, because not only have they been where they've been, but they can teach others that are younger, in the same industry. So how would you help your business professionals that most of the times are more focused on just looking at the resume and bypassing the years of experience?
That's a great question. So I would have them reevaluate their series of questions. Our interview process here, and an interview process question that I help teach our clients and people looking to hire the right talent, I have asked a completely different set of questions. Like I said, the resume gets you in the door, and that's important. I need to check some boxes. That's very important. Otherwise, I'm going to literally create something from scratch, and I can't really do that in a feasible mindset. But I have to have questions based on leadership and conflict and failure and overcoming that. I have to have questions that are, hey, what do you do when you're in conflict? When you think somebody's done something right or something wrong? You disagree with a superior. How do you resolve that? An inferior disagrees with you. How do you resolve that? And now I'm starting to get how this person thinks and acts and works within teams and within a structure. If I can get somebody that is an eager beaver to learn, an eager beaver to work with a team and learn along those ways, that in addition to a resume that has any support of my industry at all is way more important than just a really strong resume. So you have to be asking those personality type, those initiative character questions to see how are they going to flourish in your company.
Absolutely. So great conversation in terms of the resume, the personality when hiring the right candidates. But let's pivot a little bit in terms of the second thing that you mentioned at the beginning in terms of sustainability, the eco-sustainability. So how are you helping businesses in that term?
That's a great question. So once you have the right people, you're going to be sustainable in the long haul as far as morale. But we have a lot of companies all over there in various industries, barge industries, railroad industries. We have people that run clay pits and rock quarries, huge fuel consumption, huge footprint into the actual earth, and they have to go through and just dig or work, and we look at ways to help them find sustainability with efficiencies. Okay. With those efficiencies, we're going to go ahead and identify them to them. We might do something with our accounting side, take your financials, look at them over 2, 3, 5 years in the past, and start seeing those differential line items really, hey, you've been increasing massive percentages year over year in this category, and that's a red flag, or at least an orange flag that we need to address. And by the way, did you not know that there was a grant or a tax credit available if you were to pivot into this side of the industry? So we like to stay inside our wheelhouse, inside of the planning and tax liability consulting, but in doing that, having that broad measure, we're able to help people pivot their industry to gain new access to new funding and to also reduce these danger areas that are either hemorrhaging cash from their company or potentially damaging their communities and the environment. And that's just something that we can see from this 50,000 foot view that when they're down in daily operations, they just can't pay attention to it.
Absolutely. So there is a lot of information when it comes to sustainability in the eco space to be able to reduce a lot of the cost in business. And that is what Ryan Kahn is an expert in. So Ryan, our viewers are going to want to know more about you. They're going to want to know more about CS Business Consulting. How can they get a hold of you?
So the easiest way to get a hold of us is probably to go to the website, which is csbizcon, that's B-I-Z, csbizcon.com, or call our phone number, 270-442-6688, or if you want to shoot an email to me, ryan@csbizcon.com, and that'll get the ball rolling, and we can really help people out in their specific area.
One last question real quick before we go. Are you able to take care of anyone nationally, internationally?
So nationally, we only have 1 or 2 international clients, and they were domestic clients that grew internationally. Mm-hmm. We like to keep our wheelhouse in the domestic as much as possible. Okay. If you are international, we actually have a person that we partner with that specializes in international tax, international law, in a relationship there that we can leverage. So we'll take anybody, but we may not personally be doing all of the international work in-house.
All right. There you have it, folks. Ryan Kahn with CS Business Consulting. Amazing information in all worlds of hiring the right candidates and mental fatigue and eco-sustainability in the business. And it's an amazing opportunity to have him here in the studio and learn from him and learn all the tips and tricks. So, all right, folks, that is it for the show today. We want to thank Ryan Kahn for being on the show today. It's an amazing opportunity to have experts like Ryan to learn from every single week, and that is going to do for us today. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until next time, take care of each other.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new CareWatch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The CareWatch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call